Good.
Okay, welcome back to season 2, episode 1 of the WolfNCline podcast show, where we are the elite podcast of NHL 95 online world. We are fact-based, we are non-repetitive, authentic, and genuine. We're all those things. And we're super excited today to be joined by an elite player in the league, Autobahn. Autobahn, welcome.
Welcome, man. Welcome. Can we call
Thank
you?
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
no, that's perfectly fine. Yep, Brandon's fine.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm really excited to talk to you tonight, Mike and I.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun, hopefully. We're going to drink some alcohol and we're going to talk.
I just want to say it's rare when you get somebody besides Nick to speak from Minnesota. So we appreciate you taking the time.
It's kind of funny. You got probably the most quietest guy in the whole Sagathon crew doing this first episode here with you, because Nick, Judd, Nick is that bright yellow color, loves to talk, and Judd's the alpha of the group. And Blair just likes to get saucy and talk a lot. And
are you older than
I'm
Blair?
in the back. I'm in the background. Blair is older than me by a year and a half.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope you've listened to a couple of these before, so you kind of know how we do this. We're going to start off asking you some questions, starting off to get to know you a little bit, and then we'll start to get into some other types of questions. But just to get started, when did you start playing video games?
Yeah, great question. I am the youngest of 5 in our family.
Yeah.
So with having older brothers and a sister, we did have Atari when that came out. I would say I didn't have too many chances to play the games, just because I was lowest on the totem pole to get a chance. Usually shoved back and said, no, not your turn. And I don't think it was until like the Nintendo and Genesis came out is when I really started picking up playing more games there.
So you were the youngest out of 5. So when you guys got whatever system you got, what system did you get and when did you get it and how did you share it? Like you were saying, like I come a family of 6, so I know what you mean, but there was only 3 of us battling over it basically. And so how did you guys handle that?
Yeah. So I remember getting the Nintendo under the Christmas tree, from Santa to Blair and myself. So, that was kind of our first one. We had a pretty tight knit neighborhood too. A lot of kids our age used to just kind of run around, trade games, go to people's houses, play a lot of Nintendo at their houses. So we had a lot of fun with everybody in the neighborhood growing up like that.
So what's the age difference between you and Blair?
He said a year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half older. Yep.
No, wait. So Judd, Nick, where are they with you? Are they older than you?
Yeah. Judd and Blair in the same grade. They graduated in 97. Nick and I graduated in 98.
Okay. So you're the same. I'm 97. My brother was 98. So yeah, same thing.
Okay.
So to give us a little bit of your history, are you married? You have kids?
Yep. Married. About 12 years or 13 years. They have 2 kids, 12 and 9. And they may be making an appearance here. Hopefully not. I gave my wife the fair warning, but my youngest one, she loves the attention and spotlight. So she's going to be some type of actress, or she's the exact opposite personality of me.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Loves to be out in front of people, loves talking to people.
Yeah.
She hates dead silence, and I'm the opposite.
So where in Minnesota are you guys located? We're obviously
so if you're familiar with Minnesota, the Twin Cities, most of us are the the southern end of the metro area.
Okay.
And Nick, Judd, and myself all live pretty close to each other. Blair's a little bit more in the cities area. And then we have this other kind of group, like they call the Cult of Ren. That's my other brother, Ren.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're largely out of the St. Paul area. And like Chris, who is also in the league of Charlestown Chiefs, he's not too far from us either.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just west of us a little bit.
Okay. What do you do for a
And
job?
I was listening to your podcast with Ticklepuss, and we're actually in pretty similar lines of work. He's more, I think, on the selling side, but I work with the products that he sells, a lot of HR software.
Okay.
And so, ensuring everyone is getting paid correctly. And I do a lot of automation work. So
Okay.
I'm kind of that guy that says, okay, tell me what you're doing. And then I automate their work. I'm
got it.
kind of
So I'm
the bad guy sometimes.
Ah,
but I'm assuming that's why your podcast, your streaming is so good because
yeah.
of some of that skill.
Yeah, I would say I'm the one person out of the whole Segathon area. Nick has some technical skills. He kind of built out the Segathon.com site. But yeah, I probably have the most skills and make sure my internet's up to speed and my connections are good and everything is set up to the way Ultra Magnus says it should be set up.
Yeah.
As we're all learning, right?
Yep.
We're all learning.
Yeah.
So your NHL team is obviously Minnesota, like the rest of the guys.
Oh yeah, and I would say that with, of course, it wouldn't be a podcast here without a dog barking. Sorry. The Wild obviously is my team, but I seriously don't watch a whole lot of NHL. Within our group here, our Segathon group with Nick and Judd and Blair, we're really dug into college sports. So we do a lot of Gopher games, Gopher hockey, and I went to the University of Minnesota Duluth. So there's a big rivalry between University of Minnesota Duluth and what I just consider the sister campus, the Twin Cities, the Gophers.
Okay. Hey, so they have a really nice arena, their hockey team.
The Gophers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nothing anything spectacular like, let's say, North Dakota's is.
Well, yeah, like Penn State. Terry Pagula donated Penn State.
Yeah.
It's less than 10 years old. It's beautiful. It's like an NHL arena.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful arena from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's definitely high class arena that you have there. Love to get out there and check that out. Yeah, it's old. But there's not a bad seat in the whole house. It's just kind of a dugout bowl in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the whole concourse is wide open to walk around, and you could go in there, cheap standing room tickets, and watch a pretty good game. That's what we did last weekend. So, and Duluth, they have a newer arena. That one is, I'd say it's like a mini Penn State arena. It's just smaller.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get the big donor money like Penn State might, but I'd say it's just a smaller version of it, a little glitz to it.
Okay.
So how many of you guys are in on the season tickets for the football team, college?
Surprisingly, there's only 4 of us.
Okay.
Myself, my brother Ren, Blair, and another guy who's in the Cult of Ren named Doug. The rest really just come for the tailgating.
Oh, they don't even go in.
No, I'd say we'll probably get anywhere between 12 to 15 people on average to our tailgates, and it's maybe 6 of us that actually go in. They scalp a lot of tickets or so off the street if they want to come in, or if they pick up the free one from somebody else. So
we've all seen the red van, right? Whose van?
Yes.
Whose is that?
That is my dad's van. He used to sell carpeting or flooring in combined. So so we just kind of held him hostage, and he's been semi-retired for about 30 years, and now he's fully retired, but we just asked him to keep the van, and he can't let go of it, so we just use it for our tailgating now for the most part.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the free candy pictures
Yes.
that we put on it for Halloween. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Fantastic.
There was some girls, the college girls, that came up to us where they were grabbing some of the candy, and I said, there's some free puppies in the back. And one of them was like, really? The other girl hit her and said, you idiot.
Oh man.
So we've been talking.
Well, go ahead.
We've been talking about getting to know you a little bit, but give us some of your NHL 95 history.
Just like mine personally, or
when you
our
started
whole
playing,
second on?
When you started playing?
Yeah. So I would say, we did start playing when the game came out. We talk about the founding four of our Segathon group. I was the little brother that was tagging along. I may have not been in their grade or that group at that point, but so I was playing along with them there at that point when we first got the game.
Okay.
And then the game got put away for a while. I think it was early 2000s when we started breaking out the game a little bit more, playing and starting up our Segathon tournaments again. It might be 2002 when we first started our tournaments up. I'd have to check that, but yeah, I think 2002 was our first real Segathon tournament.
So 2002, right? That's 20 years.
Yep.
So for 20 years, have you guys had different winners, or has someone usually risen to the top?
So we have one guy that rose to the top, untouchable.
Yeah.
If I were to play him, he'd beat me I'd probably win 1 out of 15 times.
Wow. Who's this
And
guy?
His name is Nate Heimdall. He's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
He was just really great at any leisure sports. So we always called him the leisure sport champion, So you'd always want to be his partner in pong or darts or bowling or whatever else. He was just naturally good at it.
So was he older than you? Was he
No, he was our grade.
He was your grade.
Yep.
And he was
Yes.
He was the best.
Yes, and I would be very confident in stating that he would be giving Sean Bell and Colin fits too.
Okay.
If he were to, and I think if this was a long two, I think he might still be around today if this happened a few years earlier.
Give him something to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So when you think about yourself in terms of skill, I always ask this question. I always get people looking at me strange, but when did you discover okay, I'm pretty good at this game? Obviously, last year you won Segathon, right?
Yes. Yep. I think we always have maybe somewhere between 20 to 25 people in our tournaments.
Yeah.
And I'm consistently in the top 4.
Nice.
Okay.
So, I think I always do a lot better in person too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm a lot bigger than most people and when I'm sitting next to them or not, but I don't know. Yeah, I do a lot better in in-person tournaments. And I think I have most of that consistency making it through to the top 4. And then it's just always, I don't know if it's Big Brother Blair that always kind of gets in your head, or Nick's voice.
Yeah.
And just being up 10 goals against Judd and having him come back and beat me in a game.
Yeah.
Those type of meltdowns that always kind of happen. That leads me into not really winning all the time, but
Yeah, but
always just in the top 4.
You still have a great time though, right? You still have a great time.
Oh yeah. That's what our tournaments are all about. Just
Yeah.
good excuse to get together and be us
Exactly.
with your friends.
So
Yeah.
another question about the Segathon tournament. You've been playing this for 20 years. You won it last year. How many other times have you won?
Oh, good question.
So I won one other Segathon, and then we have other sub tournaments.
Mhm.
So we have Segathon, then we have the POP or Pan of Prague tournament. This is the one we do in the summertime.
I've been on your website. You've never been on the website?
Yeah.
Easy.
Just another tournament.
And then we do this thing called a Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Cup. I like the Ryder. That's a
Yeah.
different style. I like that a lot.
I want to get into that later here with you guys, but
Okay.
and then so I've the 2 major ones, obviously Segathon and the Panorama, the POP,
So really,
and I've won the POP once before also.
Okay.
so how are those
Yeah.
two tournaments different?
How are they different?
Yeah.
Not really
Okay.
anything different, just different times of the year.
But the
Gotcha.
Ryder, right? The Ryder is teams.
Teams.
It's
okay.
like the
Yeah,
golf. You know how the Ryder golf tournament. It's like the
Yeah.
same thing.
it is.
together.
Yeah. So maybe we can get into that now, but
Yeah.
so historically it's always been the grade of 97 versus the grade of 98.
That's what that is. I always thought you guys were playing like 97 and 98. I didn't know that's what that was. Okay.
Sorry, what
Right.
Their ages, class of 97, class of
Oh.
98.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we had Nate on our team, so it was me, Nick, Nate, and then it was always fill in the blank with somebody else
It didn't matter.
from our grade. Didn't really matter because whenever Blair, because the format is you play each person or you play every team throughout the roster or the game, and before the series starts, you pick your matchups. Like I'm going to be Hartford against Blair, or I'm going to be Pittsburgh against Judd, and then they will have their matchup. So that's how we end up playing the game. So you gotta figure in like damage control, because if you beat you by 5 goals, it's extra points, or they beat you by 10 goals, it's extra points. So whenever they played Nate, it was like damage, like their whole strategy was damage control against Nate. How can we have not let him score or slam dunk on us the whole time?
Wow.
So we consistently destroyed them every single year. And once we lost Nate, it's been kind of even depending on who we get.
So let me ask this. So what would you say was Nate's style? What did he do so well?
He was really good at baiting you into the corner so that he could come out and cross crease you in a way. He was really good at the dead man. He just really invented so much.
Okay.
He even had he broke the record. I think it's like 50 goals against the computer.
Wow.
Jeez.
So he even had that. It's just he could do pretty much anything and score at will on the breakaways. Like if you're talking about like breakaway percentage, like mine is terrible. I'm sure his would be like 25 to 30% or so.
Yeah.
He's just
like
that good.
Calm. He's like calm level breakaway.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Do you want to add to this?
But yeah, I think it'd be cool to get like 4 of your high guys against us in a Ryder Cup type format.
I agree. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be huge. It could be something we could do virtual.
Yeah, I think it could. I think it actually could.
But also, yeah,
but
we've also talked about making it out there for one of your high tournaments too.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we would love that.
Actually, speaking,
we did, because you can intermix it too within the tournaments.
Yeah,
in a way.
Exactly.
It's depending on the format. Because we did it with these guys from who we call the Boston guys. They flew over once for one of our tournaments. I don't think they're actually from Boston, but we just kind of call them the Boston guys. I think one of them might have lived there, but I think they're all went to Notre Dame. So they're college friends from Notre Dame. They found the site and they were interested in playing us. So they flew over. They even made this like giant Stanley Cup. We rented out this bar and had a huge tournament there. And we ended up with the victors in that though.
That's awesome.
Nice, nice.
So it was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, man. You had a group of nerds together, nerding out, man. It's like, holy shit.
So-
Yeah, I think the greatest quote taken out of that whole tournament was one of the guys from Boston goes, "They're getting stronger with every drink they take."
So real quick, because our tournament is next month, right?
Yep.
One of the things that distinguishes ours, I think, from yours, well, a couple of things, but definitely how we pick our teams, right? So
Yeah.
how do you guys in Segathon pick your teams?
For the most part, it's just at will. You just take whoever you want. I think in the past, early on, we all had our quote teams. Like I was St. Louis, Judd was Detroit, and Blair was Pittsburgh, and Nick was Calgary, for example. But that had since evolved as the players kind of ebbed and flowed, besides our core 4 people, to be just kind of, whatever goes. Sometimes we implemented those tier strategies where we rolled the dice and everything. That's kind of neat. I like that. But for the most part, it's just to keep it moving.
Yeah. So essentially, if you chose St. Louis, could somebody else also choose St. Louis?
Yeah, they could. Yep.
Good.
And you only played with them for one game, right? Did you change every game?
So in the past, we stuck with our teams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the way
but yeah, then ongoing, it could be like this last Segathon. I decided, I've always been kind of mid-range teams. I like playing with those mid-range teams. I said, you know what? I'm going to roll with the Rangers this year. And it worked out.
nice.
So, but the championship game was Rangers versus Rangers.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it ended up being an even contest, but
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next question about Nick, right? Does it annoy you that Nick has the moniker Segathon?
It doesn't annoy me whatsoever. Not me.
So it annoys somebody? It annoys somebody?
So I would say in the middle of some tournaments, I'll hear somebody say, well, how does Nick get the Segathon tagline? And usually it's somebody that's new or hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah.
I'd like to question Judd and Blair a little bit,
Okay.
But Nick does puts the most effort into the whole Segathon brand.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me whatsoever, but it lightly comes up and I kind of chuckle every time I hear it.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy. I love Nick, but I just never would have named myself High. You know what I mean? That would be so funny. These guys are you're an asshole. You're not High.
Yeah. No, I think it's more like with John and Blair being their original quote 4. Those two might take a little bit of offense to it, but Nick and Judd, they're kind of the same in this whole Segathon brand, I guess you could say.
So let me ask you with the Segathon then, who in your out of all your Minnesota guys, who would you consider your rival?
There's this guy named Johnny O, we also call him Brazil. He's not a top tier player, but for some reason he beats me and it drives me nuts. Just drives me nuts. And it's always like getting into the championship or to the top 4 or something like that. Like maybe I just go in a little too laid back or something like that, but it's just I look over and like, what the hell is he doing? You know. So this last one, I made sure I threw up a lot of goals against him. But out of the core Segathon guys, like I don't know. I guess I'd have to say Blair just because he's the older brother.
Mm.
And he does beat me most of the time, which drives me absolutely nuts.
And he lets you know about it too.
Oh God, yes. We were at so we have a new sub tournament. We call it the Champions Tailgate Club, and where we pick a team for that week, and everybody has to play that team. So it's like Chicago versus Chicago, you know, and we fill out the tournament. And Blair beat me in the championship, and he was hammered. And I don't think he watched any of the game because he spent 3 hours tapping me on the shoulder about if I felt bad that he beat me. 3 hours of going, hey, are you all right? Because I beat you?
I love it.
That's great.
I love it. Holy shit.
He had no clue what the score was or the Gophers were even playing.
Dude, I think it was last year.
Trophy.
You guys were at a game last year and he was shit faced and he sent like a video to the Discord and he was fucking on fire. He was challenging everybody. He was on fire.
Yeah, that's every Saturday for him. So
So who are the top? So we know who number 1 is. I think it's your friend. But
yep.
who are the top 4 Segathon players of all time?
I would say, you know, between Nick, Judd, Blair, and myself, we're all pretty interchangeable.
Okay.
I think Nick has probably the most success. I wish I got in and kind of saw our records, but I believe Nick, I believe Judd and I surpassed Nate after him not playing for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We finally surpassed all his, you know, game wins and goals.
Okay.
You know, Nick will probably have to clarify, but overall, I think we're all pretty interchangeable. And we have been trading off. I think our last Segathons, you know, it's just been rotating between Blair, myself, Nick, and Judd.
So I did notice Nick obviously does the down B.
Yeah, the dirty, yes.
And also Gophers does it. But I feel like you don't do it.
I will never do the down B. However, I will do the clap.
Okay, yeah.
The clapper, the Magnus clapper.
Yeah.
And I typically reserve it for when there's like only a few seconds left, you know, and I'm trying to come down the ice, or if I'm in just total desperation mode.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I some people think that's just as bad. I see it as a full slap shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the down B from the other side of the rink.
Yeah.
You
know, Nick's specialty there. That doesn't happen in the NHL at all.
I've caught some recent slack on this podcast because I've added it to my arsenal. Right.
I hear that. And how do you feel about yourself?
Listen, it's a piece. It's one of the many things I'm using. It's certainly not just one.
No. Well, you're talking about this and adding it to your arsenal, but Magnus said that's disrespectful and you should be banned from the league because you use it. He literally said that on his last podcast.
He did say that.
He hates that so much because he said he scored on him when it like start the game. He shot it and scored like right away. You're dick.
So
listen, but
who was?
If we're gonna talk,
who was it that was? Go ahead. Sorry.
If we're gonna talk about Magnus, he did say some things that were untruthful.
Yeah.
Last time.
All right, we can get to let Brandon finish that. We'll get to Magnus.
who is it, Lloyd, that was saying it's a snapper wrist shot?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the
really?
snapperoo.
So I can see that if
Yeah.
you know you're past the blue line or so, but just not on the other red line.
Yeah.
I totally agree, man. I will only shoot
Yeah.
it as soon as I'm getting into the zone. I like to fire it as soon as I'm getting into the zone. I will never fire it from the face-off circle or from the neutral zone. I'm just not gonna.
No, nope.
And really, like I've said to him, he said he added it to his arsenal. I wouldn't say I added it to my arsenal. When I'm frustrated with somebody and I'm coming down the ice and I need a goal desperately, I'll fire one off because I'm like, I can't get anything else going. I'm just gonna try to fire this off.
Yeah, and I've always said, if it's in the game, it's in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Do I like losing in overtime on a down B from the other side of the ice? No, but whatever, it happened.
It was, and I will say this about my game. Before the W, before this other thing that we've been doing for the last year and a half, down B, never did. Flip into the corner, never did. I mean, there's pieces to my game that have been added since this last year, for sure.
Well, hopefully that gets you in the playoffs.
That's true.
Hopefully.
Look, I'm going for a high tournament win in next month.
I know we got play. Well, we might not even be in the playoffs. So.
Right.
It's kind of the equivalent to do you guys ever play? I'm sure you did, but Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's that one move that actually works, like I don't know, 20% of the time, where all you do is drop back into your end zone and just wait there, and then you just chuck it, and they get a touchdown quite a bit of the time.
Yeah.
So it's I think kind of the equivalent to that play of Super Tecmo Bowl, and they allow that in their leagues.
I agree.
I don't remember which game it was, but there was one play in one of these football games. Mark Bavaro, the tight end for the Giants, he would do this like circle spin, and it was 100% completion. You couldn't stop it.
Are you talking about Mark Bavaro in the video game?
In the video.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you referencing the Giants from the late 80s? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
In the video game.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, Bob.
Now let me ask this question. So Brandon, if you could change one thing about the Segathon event, what would it be?
I could change one thing.
One thing.
We
don't give a shit what it is. Just
I'd say it's just the misperception that I'm not drinking.
we have a couple of those guys.
Hey, it's funny you say that because I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Because Nick, Judd, and Blair, they're like out of body experienced when they're drinking. I am just laid back, chill.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm not drunk or not drinking. It's just I don't choose to act like that.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying to I forget who was saying it the other. Oh, Sean Bell said I posted a video of JP winning his first championship, and he looks like he was had prison sex. He looked like he was raped in the bathroom. That's what it looked like to me. And Sean responds that he didn't look drunk, and I'm like, first off, JP's not that kind of drunk. He's very similar to me, where I drink all day. I'm not running around picking people up. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just chill. I'm just relaxed.
Unless you win the championship.
Unless I win the championship, yes, that's different. And yes, I'll get loud and everything like that. But there's plenty. And the thing with the drinking is we may joke about it, but I'm not pressuring anybody to drink.
Yeah, no.
I want everybody to have fun, but you should have a beer in your hand.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the history with our buddy Nate too. Like we don't want to push the drinking either. But it's all in fun, especially if you have a good liver.
So the misconception that you don't drink is the thing you want to change.
Interesting.
That's the only thing.
We'll help you out. We'll do our best to help you out.
Magnus did help me out. He was there. I think they brought him in just to tally what I was drinking or not drinking throughout the tournament.
So that's what he was focused on and not winning.
But he stood up there and vouched for me. So when that started coming out, so when Blair, Judd start losing, that's the very first thing that starts coming out of their mouth. Brandon's not drinking enough.
Hey, I hear the same shit every year.
Yeah.
Except you don't win.
Well, listen, I get pretty deep.
Deep what? Balls deep?
Second, third, fourth. I mean, just like, listen, just like Autobahn here, I get to the final four pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Who's better at the game, Brandon or Blair?
I don't know if I want to concede.
You don't have to. Nobody's telling you have to.
He'll get his chance.
Yeah, no, I would say I have more scoring moves, and I've been beating him more recently in the second-thon. So, and plus I'm the second-thon champ, so I'd say me.
Exactly. Just go with that, man. Just go with that.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
No
It's
other
close, though.
explanation needed. You should have just said I'm the champ. That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's close though.
All right.
But like Blair and Nick, they're their worst. Blair, Nick, and Judd, they're their worst enemies when it comes to that, late night, getting down to the finals. Sometimes they, TKO themselves.
Yeah.
And that's happened before.
Yeah. It's
so
dude, long days.
it's their
man.
stamina. Yep.
Hmm.
Do they have the stamina to pace themselves or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Another one about Nick. Has he always been obsessed with feet?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it evolves. Like, I think he had this deal with news anchors and their hands at one point. Hand length sizes, in particular, our weather lady on Channel 11. Like, I think he was pretty obsessed with her and her hands. And then also like B-list stars. I think he gets fascinated on them, like that Marquee Post from Night Court.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wait, he did post about her. He did post about her.
And we had a very long conversation about her over New Year's, so I kind of sparked that up. But yeah, I think it just kind of evolves. It's just something he just gets hooked on and latches onto for a while until something else kind of sparks his interest.
Like for right now, it's the seagull.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know about the seagull?
Oh, is that the flip?
Yeah. His flip.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah. No, he was telling me that, and I tried it a few times in the queue.
Yeah.
Just because my team isn't good, so I was like, I'll try whatever. And yeah, I can kind of see that, especially if you can dead man them right away.
Yeah. He got it to work in 3 games. He got it to work only one time in the queue.
Yeah, and he was telling me that, I'd say about 1 out of 10 goes in the net. Like, well, I tried it maybe 100 times and got none. So I he says it can kind of touch the goalie's shoulder and go in, from there, but I haven't seen that yet. But yeah. So I could see it working. I don't know. You just have to make sure you got like faster wingers to make that check, and not too fast that they get there first.
Yeah. So who's the best Segathon player in the W? Rank them in the W.
Oh, all 32?
No. Just rank the Segathon guys.
Oh,
in their online play now, mind you. Don't bounce it with Segathon.
Yeah. Just a W.
Online play, I would say Nick. Then me, just because I have more history in the playoffs than Blair. Then Blair, then Judd.
Okay.
Because I don't think Judd may have made the playoffs the first year.
Judd won a playoff round 1 year.
Yeah.
He upset somebody. Didn't he upset somebody?
Was that the first year?
I thought, didn't he beat King Wrath 1 year? Didn't he eliminate?
What?
The thing about Judd, right? Judd,
yeah.
Gopher.
Yeah.
Really streaky. Like when he's hot, he'll steamroll through people. And
he uses
Renberg. Ridiculous. I mean,
in a way, he's like Colin and kind of use those mediocre players and squeeze out the best out of them.
it's true.
Yeah.
Like the season Renberg's having this season, plus the season he had when he won the MVP, that's ridiculous seasons. I mean,
Yeah. So I give him a lot of credit for putting up a lot of goals.
yeah,
Where I'm the opposite. Like I've got scoring amnesia lately, but I can halfway defend. So if I could take Judd's scoring ability somehow and keep with my defense, I'd be a lot happier.
All right, so I have to address this then.
his team.
Yeah, because I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed that you fell for DS and traded Shanahan away. Because Shanahan was the guy on your team that I couldn't do shit with. I couldn't knock him off the puck. I couldn't do anything. And now you gave him to DS and you're stuck with fucking Amani.
Sorry, let me add to that.
Pile it on.
Because I'm agreeing with this guy. Shanahan was your Lindros. He was a monster.
Yep.
He was a monster.
So what happened?
And his one-timers were deadly.
Yeah.
You couldn't knock him down.
You couldn't knock him off the puck.
He was like, I hated playing against you.
I think you beat me 5-1, 4-1 last year.
Yeah.
And I think I beat you both games this year.
Yeah.
But you swept me last year.
Yeah,
I couldn't do shit against you last year.
Like Amante, for me, Amonte's like my bond.
Are you playing it all back in your head now? Like,
Do you know the history of Minnesota sports?
we're actually a pretty big part of the history of Minnesota
Yes.
sports.
So Minnesota sports is okay. We're getting the guys, or things are starting to come together. Let's blow it apart and restart. That's what I did.
Okay.
However, I thought I had some really good trades out there. That I was so that trade with DS was fourth on the list.
Oh,
I was committed to doing something.
Okay.
I wanted to change it up.
Yeah.
And I had Solani almost there.
oh,
Oh, holy
gosh.
shit.
I almost had Yager
Oh, holy
for a
shit.
little bit.
Mm.
And I almost had a deal for Gilna too.
Okay, again, wait, so you're telling me that North Bay would have had Shanahan?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
think that's a player that he needs.
I'd say he was probably the least committal,
Okay.
but
Well,
he thought the trade was fair,
Yeah.
And so he had some good back and forth, and he didn't want to part with him, which I totally get.
Yeah.
I
He
really
might-
wanted
he might now,
Yager.
He might trade Yager.
Yeah.
Actually, he's hot right
Yeah,
now.
he's getting hot. I
Yeah.
get it, but
I think he's 8-2.
okay.
Last
it's just
time.
then.
But I was on the road. I really wanted Solane too, and Magnus pulled it at the last second, and and then so I had a good player that could shoot well, right, with Shanahan.
Yeah.
And then I had two guys that were fast, but couldn't do nothing. They had like 2 or 3 accuracy and 2 or 3 shot power. They weren't getting the puck in the net. So now I got 3 guys with the average. They're all fast, and they all have higher averages in the accuracy and shot power and accuracy. So the concept was, the way I play is get down the ice, try to shoot and score.
Yeah.
This new mode, and maybe it's with more of the 94 people, there's a lot of skating and dancing that's going along. Like I'm not like that. Like you look at the time of possession, I'm getting out time of possession like good 4 minutes, just because I go down and try to set up a play and shoot right away.
Yeah.
So that they kind of fit my style to take whoever and try to score with them.
Yeah. I just think of your lineup, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect lineup. Leach, Chelios, Shanahan. Who am I forgetting? Hasek. But these other, who were the other forwards?
Sanderson? You had Jeff Sanderson?
Jeff Sanderson. Yep.
Yeah, he was just.
So wait, let me ask you a question. Does Tony Amani get better? Like I haven't looked at his future numbers. Does he get better?
No, not really. It just kind of stays fairly even. The other thing though, like speed is big for me. and I needed to trade away Shanny again, this is a Minnesota sports deal, at when I could get some value for him.
Okay.
Because in 2 years, he
Dropped.
drops to a 3-speed.
Okay.
And if I don't know if you remember, but like 2 seasons ago, I benched Shanny for like the whole season
Because of that.
because I couldn't deal with him.
Yeah.
He's just too slow. I'd go for the one timer and it would go to Shanny at center ice.
Yeah.
Because he's that slow.
Coming up.
And I can't deal with that.
Understand.
So yeah, we had to talk about the roster because it changed a lot, and you're not doing as well as you've done the last 2 years.
Yes, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
But this is all for fun, like I wanted to try it.
Brandon, it's not as bad as trading away Forsberg and Eisenman.
That's
So
true.
don't worry about it. Didn't do that.
Yes, but I got some pillars to work off of. I traded, to get Gonchar at a decent deal, I think. So
Yeah. No. I had no problem with your other moves. It was just like I can close my eyes. I had nightmares about Shanahan those 2 games in season 5 because I was like so frustrated. I couldn't do anything. They're just looking out the window. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, so I could have kept him, and I probably would be having a lot better season than I am right now. However, I would have no bargaining power.
Yeah, you're looking long term, man. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
So back to the W. Who's your toughest opponent in the W?
Well, I mean, we could all say, Sean and Colin or whatnot, but I play some really good games against LHX, and I think we have that playoff history where we always play each other. And I think I got them 2-1 so far.
Nice.
And our games, and I think our whole playoffs last year were like 1-0 games, and so they're very defensive, just fast pace. Yeah, they're low scoring, but it's just a lot of fun playing against them.
Okay. And how about your easiest? Who do you struggle the least against?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to pull somebody out like that. Are you looking for?
That's what we do here.
Like,
call them out. We want to know who sucks. You can say Magnus. We all say Magnus.
So, like, looking at the divisions here, I'm just going to go across, the top. Like, the first tier, I'd say Magnus. The second tier, I think Judd hasn't beat me in the season.
Okay.
The next tier, maybe G.
Okay.
That was tough because all these guys they draw a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one, I don't know. Some of the newer guys there that just haven't played yet. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moving ahead, do you consider that you think you have your franchise player on your roster, or you still you were looking for your franchise player?
I think I got 2.
Okay.
I got Gonchar and Oli. And Oli's got the stats that I really value.
Oh, wait,
And
Oli
Jokinen.
Okay.
He's got the speed. He's got high accuracy, high shot power. And those are the top 3 things that I look for. Now thinking about now I really got to start adding in that weight value because that is a real thing.
It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. I learned my lesson.
You got that one guy. Like I was trying to check you with 3 guys, and somehow he broke through, and you did your cross crease with that. That just drove me nuts in our last game.
I'm telling you, dude, the weight, Mike. So outside, I'm not counting Eisman, but between Daze, Isbister, and Bertuzzi, they're all 11, 12 weights. They're all 5 speed, and they're all 4 or 5 checking. So it's like they're gonna next year they're gonna be impossible to knock off the puck. And I need that. I need that for certain teams like playing puss. Like I can never knock Kachuk or Deadmarsh off the puck.
Yeah. Yep.
There's certain teams like that. Like
Oh.
Colin, I can't even catch his fucking guys to hit him anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna say,
my three forwards right now, you can breathe on them and they fall over. So
And that's the worst. I had Sakic and Yzerman, and neither of them were really super strong on their feet, but they were super skilled.
Yeah.
But they were so similar. I could only keep one in my line.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So what are your I know this season, your first season that you joined the Q. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I think I did it mostly to, like, everybody is so good now. Like, and so I it's something like, okay, I got to start really working on some other skills and things that I'm seeing in the league to practice. And I take that as that kind of venue to do so.
Mhm.
And I like being able to, I think it would be fun to start from scratch with the nobody team and kind of build it up from there too. It'd be kind of fun. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
love the GM factor of this whole thing. I'm
yeah,
a big fan of that whole, between the GMing, the game playing, and the statistics. That's that whole those three things. Outside of everything else, those three things just that draws me back every time. Every time.
yeah. And when I first joined, the very first, like, when an instant, I got a message from DS wanting to trade for my picks. It's like, nope, I'm not dealing with you anymore.
And then he's like, just do it now, or else I'm going to take Shanahan from you. That's what he was
Yeah.
saying.
No, and I mean, like, no, I need those picks because there's some actual good. I think there's some really good players in the
There's some
next
good players
draft.
coming up.
So
Yeah, there's some good players coming up.
yeah.
Let me ask you. Can you explain? I know you changed your logo this year, but can you explain the Autobahn for us?
And also,
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and go into the change.
what's it?
Go into the change also. Why you? Changed.
Yeah. So my favorite movie is The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
Have you watched that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I think I've seen it probably 30 times total. Yeah. The more you see it, the better it is. There's the nihilists that are in there, and their band is called Autobahn.
Okay. There you go.
So that's where it comes from.
Okay.
And so I just kind of picked that group of characters from the movie to kind of build around, and that's the three guys that are in there. It's actually based off a real German band called Autobahn, but but I didn't have any interest in them. I just more interested in the movie.
So that's why you went with the bowling pins. Now I understand the bowling pins too.
Yeah. Yep. So then there's just a lot of
it's
red
bowling pins for the bowling.
Yeah. So the Autobahn band, they wear red shirts, black tie. So that's what I started out with, but there's a lot of red and black in the league.
Yes.
And I just wanted something different. So change it up, but maybe I need to go back because the last time I didn't make the playoffs, I changed my uniforms. But I think I had more of an excuse there, though. I was playing one-handed for the most of the season.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were hurt there for the one season, right?
Well, yeah, I had a cast kind of around my arm. I had that melanoma transplant here.
Okay.
So I was playing kind of funky. But I don't unfortunately have that excuse this season. But
did you say
besides the color change?
Did you say you might go back to last year?
Probably not. Yeah, I think I just got to stick with it and stay with it.
Yeah. I like it. I like what you have now. I got no problem with what you have now. I just never
understood
the Autobahn.
Yeah. Thing. Yep. So that's it. And I've always liked the Oilers dark blue and the orange.
Oh yeah.
So that's where some people really like it and some people don't like it.
No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one.
Let me ask. So last one for this segment. So let's go 5 seasons, not years, 5 seasons into the future, and tell me, where do you see the Autobahn?
I see myself making the playoffs which it'll come down to
This
me and
year, you're
Ed,
making
I
the playoffs
think.
this year.
I gotta go on a serious run.
Okay, that means he's not making it. If you're making it, it means he's not.
I
Making
know it's down. It's us two, and unless Mr. Tex starts losing,
Yeah.
True.
which I don't see it happening too much, unless
He's
he's got
probably-
all the tier 1 guys left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's got a lot of trouble. That's
He's
why he's
got-
not playing so
he's
much.
got
Okay.
some games, it is.
So it's kind of in the air there. I at least want to be making the playoffs while rebuilding.
Yes.
So I kind of with this trade, I gave myself a number of years to trade away my current draft picks for future ones.
Okay.
So if anybody wants draft picks for next year, the following year, I wish I could trade them out further, but I think we can only do 2 years
I
or
think it's 2
something like
years.
that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
I wish we could open that up more, but
Well, just remember, you don't even want to touch the 2006 draft. That's going to reset every franchise in the league. So there's almost 80 players that are stud players to draft in that, because you had 2004 only has 2 guys. 2 guys is 2004. 2005, there's none because there's no draft. So you basically have 3 years coming out in 2006. That's Crosby, it's Malkin, it's Ovechkin, we're gonna reset the league basically. We're gonna basically we're gonna move from all the old 95 guys to basically into the new era in 2000.
yeah. So the goal is to really kind of move up in that draft.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was also kind of the reasoning behind that trade, because that's when all my forwards kind of drop off.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I still got Chelios and Gonchar for Gonchar for a while, and Chelios for a few more years, and so
yeah, Gonchar's good, man. Gonchar's really good player.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk now, moving into this next part of the podcast, is just pretty much talking about season 6 updates and where we're at. So obviously I finished my season a couple of weeks ago. So I'm sitting with 81 points, and there's a couple of people that can still catch me. You're one of them, of course, Autobahn, and so is Ellis.
Well, I don't know if he's
Well,
he can, but
he can. He'd have to make
He's sitting at a 0.51 average.
yeah.
I think you really needed to be like at a 0.58 at a minimum to probably make it on this side of the bracket.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's a few games. I mean, he'd need to really go on a really good run.
yeah,
And he could do it, depending on who he has left.
Yeah, I know his schedule isn't that tough, but listen, this is a tough league, right?
Yeah.
So, he could play someone who he should beat, and they could chop, they could split it.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to go on a tear, and he hasn't shown that he can do that so far, but you never know. And like you were saying, you have to win some games to make it to get to the 81.
How many more games do you have?
22.
I'm at 50 right now.
Okay, 22.
So 22.
Yeah.
And you're playing at a 540 clip?
Yeah. Correct.
And you're saying you probably want to push that to a 580 at least.
I'd probably be safe, probably 600.
Yeah, to really take it, to take it.
Yeah.
Which means, so if you have 20 games left, that means you got to win 15, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
15 of your last 20.
So it's gonna
Ed's getting hard here, just so you know.
Listen, I think it's exciting for me to sit back and watch. Listen, I came into my scorecard is in at 81, and it's going to be fun to watch this all unfold. But I will say this: in the other conference, things are getting interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in the Clarence Campbell, we saw Nipples thinking that was it. He's got the 7th seed, but Gaelic is coming on strong.
Yes.
So, and Gaelic, I think, like I said, he's a streaky guy, and Nipples has some tough matchups. Nipples has not won a game in his division.
No, look at his division
Ooh.
record. It's terrible. That might be the
Wow.
worst division record there's ever been.
So Nipple,
Huh.
He's
Gallup,
over, right? He's
0-9.
Yeah, 0-9.
Yep.
Holy shit, Nick.
09, 0-1. He's lost all 10 he's played.
Man.
So I think Gallic still has a mountain to climb. I think Nipples is still in the driver's seat, but Gallic could make it. If he goes on a tear, he could scare Nipples.
Yeah,
big time.
he could.
Yeah. Judd's in Vegas this weekend, so he's getting recharged. So that might fuel his
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, do you think he'll play this weekend or no?
I don't know if he brought his computer or not.
Okay.
But as you look
I'd
at
advise not to, but
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, sometimes he sends pictures of what he's doing. so
yeah.
I wouldn't think so. So
the standings there in front of you, am I right in saying it's just Gallic that could push Nipples, or is there someone else?
Well, Red there is.
oh, Red.
Oh no, he's done.
He's
Yeah.
done.
Red's done, so
Yeah.
he's mathematically
Yeah.
out.
I mean, I know Sumter's
Lloyd will creep up, right? He's only at
Lloyd's
49
definitely gonna
games.
creep up.
yeah. Sumter and Red
No,
are 500, but they're too far back. I mean, there's still a lot of games to be played, but it's too far back.
Yeah, I really think that's the only competition is there. I mean, it's Lloyd. Well, I mean, Lloyd. Lloyd is the other one.
well, yeah, because DS, he's only got 2
DS
games
is
left.
out.
Yeah.
He's out because he's only at a 5-3.
Yeah.
And that's not going to cut it. Like I said,
No, and see that
He's got-
almost eliminates Grail because he's at 5-3, so he needs to pick his pace up if he really wants to
Yeah.
make any noise.
but yeah, he's got the game in hand though,
Not
Yeah,
games. He's
he
got
does.
games.
He's a lot of games.
Yeah.
and he's a good player.
He's
Yes,
good
so-
games. Yep.
Yes, he is.
So I think if we're being realistic, it's Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and maybe Grill.
Maybe Grail.
Yeah.
If in the next 2 weeks, it would be great if they would all get their shit done,
Yeah.
so we can see what's going on. I think I think our division's really interesting too, and I just think it's because of Tex dragging his feet and see what's going on. I mean, I would be shocked if I won the division with 91 points. I still have 2 games left, so say I were to take both from Puss, which isn't going to happen. So say I had 94 points or 95 points. I don't even know if that would win it. I could see Tex getting 98 to 100 points. If he plays at the level he should play.
Well,
He has a lot of tough games left.
he
But
just lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
he did more a lot. But again, that's when you take this is what I don't understand. Some guys take such long breaks. And I think what I've learned in the 6 seasons in this is when you do take a month off in the middle of a season, you try to come back into it. It's really hard to get back into the flow.
That's true.
I'm more like when I'm in the middle of my season, I like to if I can get on for 3 nights a week, 3 days out of 7 days a week and play 2 to 3, 4 games a night, that gets me in a little bit of groove and I start to feel good. And like what I said about Ed is I always try my whole, he makes fun of me for my schedule thing, but I always try to pay attention to who I'm playing so that if I do get into some kind of slump, I try to be able to look at it. And I hate to say this, but I try to look at a tier 4 guy and slip him as a slump buster. So I try to keep guys around so that I don't, because if I back up Colin to Sean to Puss to Nips to you know what I mean? If I line all those guys up back to back and they're at the end of my season, that's going to put me in a losing streak and I'm going to fucking be miserable. So I need to have guys, I sprinkle guys throughout my schedule who I feel like I have more success against to be slump busters. They're slump busters. I hate to say that. But.
Listen, I don't think of it like he does. I'm like, let's fucking go.
No,
Brandon, let me ask you. Do you think it's smart? Okay. You're sitting there on a Saturday night and we'll just take Caden. Say Caden's fucking ripped off 2 series in a row. He's 4 in a row. He's kicked shit out of it. Would you line up to play that guy next?
no.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be smart about it. You got to look and see if that guy's fucking hot. I'm not jumping in there and playing him.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think there's some of that.
I kind of like you, Mike, where in a way, I start my season out, I try to play like Sean and Colin and Ticklepuss. I try to get smacked in the face really hard.
Really.
You know, my record always shows out beginning of the year really bad.
Mm.
And then, you know, that way the intent is the back end of the season, you know, I'm more seasoned and I'm not like gonna get hit in the face by a different type of gameplay.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
And that's what I try to do. It didn't work out too well this season. Just because I think like I still have LHX left, you know, and
But back to season 6 for a minute. We're talking about like Ellis and like the games he has lined up, and also you look at some of the teams in tier 4, like Tuck.
Yeah.
Tuck looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
Caledonia, these guys can play.
And look, let me just clarify, because I say slump buster, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that I'm not gonna, if I'm having a bad run, I'm not gonna be like, I'm playing Colin next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've lost 3-4 games in a row. I'm not gonna be like, let me set up to play Sean next. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I try to put a little thought into it.
Yeah,
That's
so
all
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
outside of a couple of people who are brand new,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a couple of other people, outside of just a couple, you're not going to get an easy game.
No, you
No.
can't. You can't count on a win. If you go in counting on a win, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Right.
I feel like that's the way it is. If
Yeah.
I sit down and I'm not thinking like I really want to win this game and I'm just like going through the motions, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah. So that's why I think like, you know, Alice and even you, Autobahn, I think it's going to be tough. I think you guys can get there. I think it's going to be close. I think between the three of us, 81, 82, it's going to be all close. When all said and done, we're all going to be within like 1 or 2 points of each other.
Yeah.
I think that. I do.
Yeah, we kind of have our Minnesota showcase happening on Saturday. I got Blair, Judd, Nick coming over to my house. We're gonna knock out our games.
Cool.
So I got 6 games there.
Yeah.
I can't lose more than 2. So
No.
that means I have to sweep Judd.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
No, that's true.
yeah.
You know what?
And then
You also-
split.
Here's the thing. So go back to the screen for a minute. Here's the thing, because you have to sweep Judd, but he has to sweep you too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're both there.
He's in a dogfight.
Yeah. So what I would do, Brandon, let him, because he's got 6 against Blair, right? He's got 6. He's got to
Yeah.
play. So let them play first. Let them beat the shit out of each other, and then I would go and kick the shit out of both of them.
And I just got to play whoever lost.
Yeah, exactly. It's what. Let's go. I have a feeling. I mean, so when I play the Minnesota guys, I thought like when I first played Nick, I thought you guys would have some kind of uniform style. I don't see that. You guys are like all over the place. I don't think you guys have one specific style. Like I don't even understand how. I mean, Blair's team is super talented, but it's not like he does anything specific to beat me. He just scores. And I don't even know how. So it's like I can point to anything that Blair does super well. He just scores.
I actually think Brandon and Blair have similar games.
But that one's surprising. They grew up in the same household. But I'm saying Nick's game doesn't resemble your guys' game.
Nick's game is different.
And I don't think Judd's game resembles your guys' game.
I think Gopher's game, honestly, is a combination. He does the downbeat shit, but he also is phenomenal.
I just think he's frenetic. I just think, to me, when Judd's playing, I just think he throws the kitchen sink. He doesn't care. He's going to try anything. He's going to do whatever it is to win the game.
I think he's one of the top one-timer.
Yeah, he is
in the game.
He is.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. You know, Blair Richfield is definitely a one-timer guy.
Yeah.
And he's at 31%, which is higher up there. It looks like Lloyd is the highest at 36.
That's all he wants to shoot is one-timers.
But actually, in past seasons for you, Brandon, I feel like that was your game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, except not now.
I mean,
I'm only at 20. I'm only at 23, which is kind of lower on the list.
Did you break 100 points last season in season 5?
No.
What was your team? What was your team points? What was your team total points? You were in the 90s, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. You won. Did you win your division last year? Because you were tier 2, right? You won tier 2 to move up to, right? Or was that the year before? I can't remember.
Probably the year before.
He's in tier 2 right now.
You're in tier 2 now. Yeah.
Well, I think technically I still would have been in tier 1, but Magnus put himself in there.
Yeah,
Yes,
which
we talked about. And again, he said we were putting him down for it. We were not putting him down for it. I respect him for sacrificing himself to that. And he can say whatever, but again.
Which makes me look like, that's fine, because otherwise I'd be the most overrated player in the whole game then. I'd be getting my butt kicked.
No, and right now Nips takes that title, so you're good.
Or most overrated player is what I was saying. I don't know if I said underrated.
He's overrated. We're just gonna call Nips. You don't have.
I'm over.
Remember, what we say is from WolfNCline. We're not speaking for Brandon. Nips, you're overrated. Oh shit.
No, I'd say if I was tier 1 this year, I'd be the most overrated player.
Okay.
For sure.
I want no parts of tier 1, to be honest with you. I know I'm not in the top 6, and they'll kick the shit out of me. So whatever. I can admit it. I got no problem with admitting it.
So with season 6, as we're talking about, as we look at it, the playoff matchups, the playoff races, it's going to be exciting as we come down the stretch here. Any other things that stick out for season 6?
You got any comments on the shitty or anything else?
It'd be interesting because Judd has a lot of draft picks for this next one, and if I drop down to shitty and he's in shitty, he's going to have some really good draft picks. I think coming up.
And his team's not bad. He needs a couple forwards, but he's not. Not bad.
So he's aligning himself right if we both, make it into that shitty bill.
Interesting.
Speaking of the shitty bill, and we talked about this last week, but I think this Red Farmer team, who's playing for Matty A, he's
okay, he's kudos, man. Yeah. I look forward to see him starting fresh next year because I think he's going to be trouble.
And I think he's going to be trouble this year in the shitty bill. Yeah, I mean he's in the other conference for us, so if I drop in the shitty, or if you do, you won't have to play him unless you make it to the championship.
Well, who's the number 1 pick this year?
For the draft?
Yeah, who's the number 1 pick this year? I can't remember who it is. I asked Magnus to put the
But I do like this year's draft.
There's 30 players.
There's a couple of great goalies.
There's 30 players in the draft. Yeah. It's an okay draft. I'm not gonna smoke this.
Yeah, there's a couple of good goalies coming out. I do know that.
And that's what he's
That's what I think that's for goalie.
I think Judd is.
Oh, okay. Well, it would make sense. His defense was stacked for years to come, so I was surprised that Gonchar. I was shocked that he did that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him a pretty decent guy that it's kind of a no-namer, but he's got pretty good stats and he's around for a long time. So.
Oh no, I know. I just thought he had set himself up so well with Hammerlick and Gonchar, and he traded me Hammerlick and he traded you Gonchar in one offseason. I was surprised by that. But then again, I think I gave him 2 first-round picks for Hammerlick because I wanted him so bad. So, but my first-round picks are late first-round picks, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's go to the next part. So the last part, which again, we're not rushing anything. Let's just take our time and go through this. We have, because of our experience in live tournaments, you have experience like we have. We love the live tournament experience. So we love, especially me, I love to talk to guys about live tournaments because of, I know the shit we deal with here and how we try to perfect it. And running the tournament, we have our core 8 guys that I don't actually worry about them. I worry about the 15 to 20 other guys that come that don't play all year round. So I like to hear how I like to hear other people's ways that they deal with all this, because if I just directed the high tournament towards the 8 guys that played all the time, those other 20 guys would never show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of effort to make sure that you're running an event. And I know you're not running it, but you've experienced it enough that keeps guys coming back. You have to be able to keep guys coming back when they're not winning. You know what I mean? You're saying that it's between the 4, right? You said there's the 4 core of you guys who win most of the time. So what's making all those other guys come back? There's got to be things that you have. So like I was saying in our thing, 5 things that make an in-person tournament, and then 5 things that ruin an in-person tournament. I don't care how you want to discuss this, but it was just a way to jog us to talk about how So let's start off with the bad.
Yeah.
What are some things that make a tournament a bad experience for you?
All right. All right. So number 5, too much booze. In particular, buying a keg of Moosehead ice.
I'm guessing you guys did that.
Don't do that. Not a good idea. Doing such things can cause meltdowns. It could cause the tournament to shut down. Several vomiting that you have to clean up, and other near catastrophes. So holes in walls too cause that. Yep, that happened. And yeah, seeing one guy throw up into a pitcher of beer, then drink it. Those type of things can happen when you do that.
Yeah.
That's my number 5.
Okay.
So I guess I'll go next.
Well, why don't you give your fourth? Let's do
Yeah.
2 at a time.
All right. My number 4 is when Blair wins. Just
When Blair,
simple
that's
as that.
it? Is when Blair wins? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, give yours.
All
Give
right. So
yours.
for me, my number 5 is pressure in front of a live audience. Right. It's certainly, how it is.
But that makes, you're saying that makes.
Well, I think for some people,
Oh, it can ruin it. It can ruin it for them.
it ruins it. Some people can't take the pressure.
I know. I hear you. I hear you.
So that's number 5. I think I do okay with it.
Yeah.
But I definitely know people
Don't
hate
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And for number 4, for us in high, it's the wheel of sorrow.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fuck.
Yeah. But when you get to you start getting to like number 14, number 15, you see guys like, you see their heads start to drop. Like my buddy Dave, he was like, I remember it got to like 16. He was in the kitchen. He was like, it was like, Dave, you're up. Number 18. He's like, I don't even give a fuck now. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Because in our tournament, again, we only pick one team and you play with that team the whole way through. So
until we get to 20.
Yeah, once you get to 20, anybody after 20 can be picked 2 times.
2 times.
That's it.
So the top 19 teams are protected.
Yeah.
Only picked 1 time.
Yeah. And nobody can pick Chicago or Detroit because the 2 losers from the previous year, the first 2 eliminated from the previous year, get to pick between Chicago and Detroit.
So as this wheel is spinning, and this year it's going to be 25 names on the wheel.
No.
When you get to like 20,
yeah,
and your name's still up there, you're going to be like,
fuck. I got to play with fucking Hartford.
Let's go to Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I don't mind Hartford.
Again, it depends on your skill and what you're looking for. But trust me, if I try to take Hartford, if I play with Hartford, I just won the doubles tournament with Hartford in August. But if I try to take them into this tournament and somebody like Ed or JP get Boston or the Rangers, they're going to kick the shit out of me. Just because I won't be able to get past their defense. The Whalers are fast and can score, but they're not physical. They'll get bounced off the puck.
Our buddy Nate won a second-thon tournament with Hartford.
Holy fuck, that's unbelievable.
That's
unbelievable.
He'd always pick the low-tier teams.
Yeah, to prove his point. That's all. He was proving his point.
Well, listen,
to make it a challenge.
It's not that different than what Colin did.
Yeah, the first.
And Sean Bell trading away Bury.
Yeah,
they're like, fuck
they're trying to cut us a break. I'm gonna get rid of my best guy, and you still won't beat us. That's the way I see it, anyway. So let me give you my 5 and my 4. My 5 is weather. So as somebody who runs it, we've had snow, and then it's like you got a bunch of guys drinking at your house. So as responsible adults, that obviously is going to make the drinking scale back. People are responsible, so weather can take a toll on how much fun we have. Not saying that drinking is all the fun, but it definitely scales it back some when everybody's worried more about how they're going to drive home at the end of the day. And then spillage, man. Fucking, I'll be in the middle of the game. I'll be in the middle of a fucking game, and somebody will be like, "Oh, I fucking spilled." So I've gotten into the fucking habit of having a basket of towels around, so I can just, because I'll be in the middle of my fucking game, and they'll be like, "Klein, I spilled." Like I'm supposed to get up and come fucking clean it up. So now I can just point to the basket and say, "Get a fucking towel and wipe it up." So they're my 2 right there.
Those are the distractions. Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead, give your 3 and 2.
All right. I'm labeling this one as too many hugs.
This fucking guy.
That's great. That's great.
What I mean by that is like you can get some bad apples in your team. I was looking at an apple there, but your group where like we have this guy, we call him Hugs. And when he starts drinking, he gets kind of handsy. A little too handsy. And so we actually have him. Well, I'll get into that here in a bit, but we've only banned 2 people from our tournaments. One is him, and the other guy is the guy that vomited into the pitcher and then drank it again. So just kind of those bad apples, I guess.
Yeah.
The other number 2 is what I consider like the witching hour. That time in between the playoff or the play-in games and then the playoff bracket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things can go bad there, and it could take a long time to start those games and get them moving.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
So if you don't manage that right, it can take forever, and people start getting drained.
Yeah,
I agree, man. I totally agree with that.
we can relate to that for sure. So for me, my 3 is poor sportsmanship. This is not limited to just in person, but we've seen it in person.
Yeah.
Our boy Dave comes to mind.
Terrible.
He won't shake hands. I mean,
he leaves.
Wow.
As soon as he leaves, he leaves. As soon as he loses, he leaves.
Yeah.
And he's a 3-time champion, but he played goalie, so he's a bit of a head case.
You got to be for a goalie.
So he's got issues to begin with, but he does not have any sportsmanship.
Yeah, and this other guy in the league that plays, he like whistles during games and shit.
That's you fucking asshole. Ed loves to whistle. Like I'll be fucking playing some guy and I'm skating on a breakaway, and all of a sudden I'm like right coming between the circles and I'll hear this whistle. And then it's because he wants me to miss. So he'll be like across the other side of the fucking room, and I hear this whistle, and it's this fucking guy whistling because he knows I was on a breakaway and he was trying to...
I haven't heard of that one before. Interesting.
His description of it is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in his head.
Yeah. Like you'll be sitting there playing and it'll come up
Yeah.
behind you. Like say I have the couch turned around. So you're sitting on the couch and the guys are up behind the couch. He'll like come up like right on my shoulder while I'm playing. And he'll just fucking talk to me like right here. Because I'm trying to
that's like Nick.
Oh God.
All right. So and my number 2 is for in-person tournaments. What ruins it is distance, because like you guys can't come because you're in Minnesota. Yeah. Right. So distance can sometimes fuck it up because we want everybody to come, but it's hard.
Yeah. That's a good
Yep.
one. Yeah. So my 3 is vomit anywhere but in the toilet. So we had Ed's brother-in-law vomit the second year, and it was great because he went out back and vomited in the yard. But that vomit in February was in the yard for like 2 months because it was frozen. It was there forever. Okay. So vomit, just keep it in the toilet because no matter what in February, you're not getting rid of it anywhere. My number 2 is not enough food. We've gotten to the point where we've gone through, we've changed the way we do food here and there, but we've definitely gotten to the point where we've kind of perfected it. But the couple times that we've had problems where you get to like 6, 7 o'clock and you're like, I really want to eat again, and there's no fucking food left. That's like the worst.
But
That's the worst.
What does Duty do?
Duty. So I didn't even know his cousin, Mark Duty. I didn't even know McDonald's sold something like this. But after each tournament, he gets Chel's wife to go to McDonald's to get like this family bundle, which I had no idea they had until like 5 years ago.
Bundle boxes.
It's bundle boxes. Yeah. So it's like a huge amount of burgers, like in a box, and he just gets a whole bunch of them and just eats a bunch after the fucking tournament. I didn't even know they sold shit. I had no idea.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah, like just a box of a whole bunch of fucking burgers from McDonald's.
It's like a White Castle. Oh, do you have a White Castle there?
Yeah, no, we don't have White Castles here. But yeah, we know what White Castle. State College has a White Castle.
We got the suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. But these are, but I'm talking full-size McDonald's burgers. So you're talking about normal-size burgers. Yeah, it was just like, I'd never seen anything like that before. And then he passes out, right? He just fucking falls asleep on your couch.
Yeah. All right, what's your number one?
All right. A limo with a whole bunch of females showing up with
Ooh.
your former homecoming king.
I do remember hearing this story before. How I threw
It
off the
just,
whole tournament, right?
yeah, it just blew up the whole tournament and just caused a major delay. It was awesome, but yeah, that just blew up the whole thing.
How long do you think that interruption was?
Oh, 2.5 hours or
Wow.
so,
And you
maybe.
guys were able to
Yeah.
refocus and go back to it?
So, yes,
Wow.
we were. It was
Wow.
late, but yes.
Impressive, man.
All right. So for me, my number one, especially the last 2 years, right, is just people getting sick and not being able to come,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So thankfully, no one really has been affected, right?
No, we haven't. No. And then, well, that brings me to my number one. It's the tails right off of that. And
Yeah.
for me, as the planner, it's no shows.
Justin didn't come.
Oh,
Justin didn't come one year.
yeah.
They're no shows because
Yeah.
what people don't seem to understand is this is all planned ahead of time. Like I have to do your prelim.
All the brackets.
Yeah, everything's planned ahead of time. It's all printed out. I set it all up. So when you don't show up that morning, it causes such a fucking pain in the ass. Like I try to do everything. For me as the host, I try to get as much done ahead of time so I can just drink and play and have fun too. Because the hardest part of my day is, like you were saying, between prelims and tournament, is having to add up all the fucking math between the prelims and the tournament. Everybody else is all fucking their own thing. And I'm sitting there trying to fucking add up people's goals for, goals against. You know what I mean? And that now it's fucking 25 guys. And I'm trying to fucking do all this. That to me is like, it's the worst. So when somebody no shows and screws up my whole plan, it fucks up my day. So that
Absolutely.
I hate that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Good point.
So let's go to the good side. The good side.
The good side.
So my 5 and 4.
Yep.
The booze and medicinal stuff obviously make things more interesting.
Yes.
And number 4 is a Tecmo John, just like what you're ranting about. He's our in-game manager and takes care of a lot of that nuances that are hard to keep track of. So having somebody like him that likes to do it, and
All right. Interestingly for me, my 5 and 4 are the same that they were on the ruin list. So number 5 that makes an in-person tournament is pressure in front of a live audience. That's like phenomenal.
Yeah. It brings a whole nother aspect.
It's so for guys like Nipples and Puss who never played in front of 15 people standing over their shoulder, I'm wondering how that's going to be for them, you know?
Because they're not being quiet.
Yeah.
Those 15 guys aren't being quiet.
And I can tell you this. Sometimes I exhibition Nipples a lot. And sometimes he'll say, I'll be beating him. And he'll say, I'm distracted. And I'm like, dude, you realize how you're going to be distracted? There's going to be people over your shoulder talking smack.
There's going to be a dog licking your hand. There's going to be all kinds of shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, you got to figure out how to drown out the distractions. But to me, that's what makes the live tournament.
Yeah.
Right. So it appears on this list. And also for number 4, it's the same thing. The Wheel of Sorrow. It's like if you're getting a top 10 pick, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, if my name's called in the first, if my name appears on that wheel in the first 5, 6, 7, I turn around and I walk away and I fucking look at everybody else like, fuck you. I think I got number 1 or number 2 last year, and everybody right away is like, it's rigged. I'm like, fuck you. I'm taking Buffalo.
Yes.
So it's the Wheel of Sorrow. We call it that because if you don't make it in the top 15, you see the sorrow faces.
Yes. Yeah.
But you get a top 5 pick. I mean, you're feeling good for sure. So that's my 5 and 4.
So my 5 is probably about the same thing. It's just the environment. It's just the whole everybody. I mean, everybody's there to have fun. and everybody's there cutting loose because they're getting away from their families, they're getting away from their wives, they're getting away from whatever they're dealing with. And we try just for our tournament, I specifically try to keep that as focus, as it's a bunch of guys that have taken time away from their families. I don't want it to be a shitty time. I don't want anybody to come there and not want to come back. Like, you're giving us your time. Like, again, this is a dream of mine. Like, I love playing this game. So for people to take a full day out of their day to come and spend it with us to play a video game, it just creates a whole environment, which I fucking love. And not only that, what comes along with it, because I play with a bunch of guys, the competition is the best. I just love the competition. And a group of guys that like to compete and like to give it and get it, I love it, man. You're just constantly barbing. You're constantly, it's just a constant exchange of winning, losing, ripping on people, farting, burping, smoking, drinking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's just the greatest environment you can have, and competition is fantastic.
Yep. Yeah.
So go ahead with your 3 and 2.
We have a lot of fun with themes. You do. That's a lot of ours seem to be focused around Swayze movies for some reason. Or Keanu Reeves. I think we've had a few of those. Or they've been in the same movie. So we've had, I think you're doing yours on President's Day, right?
Yeah, you guys have done the presidents. I saw you guys did all the
we did all the dead presidents and everything. So that was kind of fun. So just kind of that. So then my second is the element of surprise. So like your wheel. Just kind of like what's going to happen, chaos and controversy always makes things a little bit fun, right? Or if you got somebody nobody was expecting to fly up for this, and they show up, those are the things that make it a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So my 3 and 2, Mike touched upon some of this, but just the camaraderie. I mean, we obviously experienced a lot of that in the W, right? Doing these podcasts, a bunch of guys having fun, but all of us in the same house, hanging out, busting chops, drinking, eating. The camaraderie is great. It's great. So anyone that's ever come, I'm sure you probably have a similar experience with Segathon. Anyone that's ever come to this was great,
Yeah.
This was awesome. So the camaraderie. And for me, number 2, we're eating food. We're hanging out. We usually bring in pork sandwiches, or people bring in stuff. So the eating is number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, eating is a big part of it, man.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is a fucking gracious host, because without my wife allowing us to do this, she leaves for a whole day. That basically, it basically takes up 2 days out of one of her weekends. So none of this on our end could happen if it wasn't for my wife Shannon being like, Mike can do this fucking stupid ass tournament in my house. And she's been allowing this, and I'm gonna say it aloud too, because she would take, when my kids were young, she was taking all 3 of my kids with her too. So it's like it was a lot different 10 years ago when we were having to deal with this. She was fucking hauling. I have a 19-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 14-year-old. So, or 13-year-old. So 10 years ago, those were 4 and 3 that she's lugging around, so I can have a bunch of drunk dudes at my house and play video games.
And she's usually with my wife.
Yeah, and she's usually with her wife. Thankfully, a lot of the wives are able to coordinate and get something done together that day too. But just the fact that she allows me to do this, and I have no problem with saying that, because I don't know how many wives would be okay with that. So she's fucking fantastic. And along with his line where he said the camaraderie, we have a great group of dudes, and I just want to focus on a great group of dudes that there is no tension. I'm never worried about somebody getting upset. I'm never worried about somebody being like, I'm offended. Like, I'm very particular about the type of people that come to High, because we are a very relaxed group. We're not there to make anybody upset. We're not here to fucking do anything but have fun. We may rip on each other hardcore, and I may say some things to Ed that sound to people like really bad, but I've known Ed for a long time. So like in that environment, it's okay. So I want people in that environment that understand we're just being ourselves, man. And that's what really is a big part of it. We just want to be able to be ourselves that day.
So one thing about High that people have observed as compared to Segathon and Waterloo is it's a perception that we don't pull for each other.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. You guys seem to like close. Like you'll defend Nick. I'm not defending this guy worth a shit. He's got to stand on his own 2 feet. Sorry. If he wants to win, you better fucking do it on your own because I'm not helping you.
Listen, this is true. And if Mike's up against somebody, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not disappointed if he's getting slammed against the wall.
So why is it that way? Is that just because we're from Philly? Like, why are the Minnesota guys? Why are the Waterloo guys? Why do you guys like? Don't get me wrong. I would die for this guy. He's one of my best friends. But when it comes to hockey, fuck no. I don't want him to win.
I'd say we're pretty hard on each other.
That's true.
Quite a bit. So, and our like, if we're not ripping on each other, we don't like you. You know, that's the kind of thing. You know, like it's the way we show our love, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so give us.
To your other point though, to like the hosting thing, like that's like a huge shout out to Judd. Like he and his wife, you know, they put on.
Oh, it looks like it.
You know,
Dude.
they bend over backwards for us and everything, and so make it. So just big shout out to Judd for that. But number one, very cliche, and we already kind of talked about it, but it's the people, right? It's just that's what makes it interesting. So I won't get around it, but I will throw in an honorable mention, and it's not really needed anymore because of the days of Twitch. But before that, we used a trail cam once, and that made it really interesting. That was the one where the limo showed up and everything, and
you have that footage. Oh, dude, you need to. They should post that footage, man.
It was kind of like flipping through what's that movie? Why am I trying to think? Where they get drunk and they go to Vegas and go through the pictures at the end.
Wait, Leaving Las?
No. I know what you're talking about. Oh my God.
Why am I drawing a blank out? It's Zach Galifianakis and
guy from Philly. The actor from Philly. I got Hangover.
Oh, Hangover.
Hangover. Yeah. We're kind of flipping through it, and then there's this one point at like 5 a.m. We see Hugs kind of pacing back and forth. Everybody was, you know, sleeping. And this other guy, who's a bigger guy, he came up, and then Hugs, you could tell the picture was like this. He's trying to lean in to give him a hug. The very next picture was Hugs was upside down getting body slammed.
Oh, that's right. Because the trail cam just takes pictures, right? It's like a bunch of shots, right? Yeah.
So I literally like hoisted Nick up on my shoulders, and we got up onto the joist and strapped it up there to take pictures throughout the whole tournament.
That's fucking awesome. That is awesome.
Oh, it was great.
All right, so
that's my honorable mention.
Yeah, my number one is drinking. I mean, this tournament that we're gonna have in about a month, we start the tournament off doing a shot of whiskey, everybody in the room, to people who we've lost, right? Because we've lost some people over the 10 years that we've been doing it. So we toast a shot of whiskey to start the day. And then that's just the start, right? Pretty much we're drinking throughout the day. In between the prelims and the tournament, we do a Belfast card bomb, right? So drinking is incorporated into this day. The one person that's ever won the tournament that wasn't drinking has an asterisk next to his name.
It's high chalk.
It's chalky.
Chalky. Fucking it's like Sugar Valley. Yeah, he's got an asterisk because he was sober. His wife was going into labor at any moment. Now again, he was smoking. He was smoking weed, but he was sorry. I probably shouldn't have said that. But he was smoking, but he didn't drink a lick of alcohol. Again, he was being responsible, but again, we see his play. That obviously was a part of the reason he won. So we're gonna see in Winter Classic #2, he won, but he was completely sober.
And also, we probably need to say this. That was 8 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. He hasn't won in a long time. He hasn't won, but he has won 2 doubles, so I'll give him that.
That's true. That's true.
So let me give my number one. Again, coming from a guy that organizes everything. So to me, the number one thing to me is commitment. People who say to me that they're coming, tell me that they're bringing something, and they come and they bring something. Like, to me, when you are willing to do that kind of shit, that just makes everything so much better. I have a group of guys that bring chairs, bring TVs, bring Sega systems, bring food. And all I do is just ask, and everybody does their part and bring it. Do I have to organize it? Yeah, but still, everybody says they're doing it and they do it. So none of this would happen if it wasn't for guys who A, wanted to come, and B, wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like, it's this.
Same with the setup.
Yeah.
Helping us set up.
Yeah.
Big part.
Yeah. And this year, I think you were saying we're gonna have Twitch set up.
Yeah, I have. So I just bought a second camera, so now I can stream 2 full games. So we'll have 2 TVs running the whole day, where you guys can just click onto my Twitch and you'll be able to see two different games going on at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, and you get to see a couple of fellow W's.
Yeah,
Nipples, Ticklepuss.
yeah. Your guys' camera, yours was kind of fucking sporadic, right? It was. I'm trying to remember the Segathon. I feel like it was off in a corner, so we felt like we were there in the room. We didn't see much gameplay, right? I don't think there was much gameplay that we saw.
I remember seeing Brandon playing the championship.
So there was a camera on the crowd and there was a camera on the TV.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it was.
But it was sporadic.
But I felt like it was like in and out. But there was a lot of you guys hanging out. You guys fucking stand around and hang out a lot. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of what it was.
Yep.
I want to focus on the games, just you guys, so you guys can see our style of gameplay.
Yeah.
That's really what I want you guys to be able to see.
But yeah, so Ticklepuss, Nipples, Magnus,
Pink,
Derek,
Caden, Dan.
There we go.
I mean, there's a bunch of guys.
You'll recognize some people there for sure. So
yeah, it'll be interesting, especially some of the guys that you said who haven't played in person tournaments yet. Then we seasoned Magnus a little bit for you. So
yes, yeah. I'm. So where do you know where he finished?
Somewhere in the middle, I think.
Give me a number. You guys all
probably.
Somebody tell me where he finished.
I'll say like 10th or so, I think is where.
Oh, so you're saying 10th, but it could really be 14th or 15th.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right, no, because like Joe, Italy, like I don't know, you played. You remember Italy? You ended up whatever. Mike Vick. When he came last year, I think that was a big adjustment for him. Was just the environment. It's real. I mean, I can't imagine being somebody outside my realm of all these guys that I've known, being dropped in here completely random, not knowing anybody, and trying to compete in that environment. So I give like Joe, I think coming back, he should have a much better chance this year because he's already experienced it. So nobody who's ever been dropped into that, dude, you're in my house with a bunch of my closest friends and you don't know any of them. So to succeed in that environment, I give you major fucking credit. Like that takes a lot, man.
And I think Joe has gone on record to say he picked the wrong team.
To where he made a mistake? Yeah.
He picked the Capitals. Meanwhile, Calgary was there. Like there were some
Brandon, who is your favorite old school team? Your OG 95 team?
Like who do I like to play with?
Any team. Was it the Rangers?
He said St. Louis earlier.
I don't know. I don't have.
You don't have a team that you can just go to?
No, I don't. I think just like in like tiers wise, like Rangers. You know, if I want to win a tournament, I'd pick the Rangers.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, if you were at our tournament and Detroit and Chicago were off the board and you had the number 1 pick, you take the Rangers.
Yeah.
And
I don't do well with Chicago for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I mean, I think the Rangers are probably the number 1 pick in our tournament.
I've debated actually.
Almost all the time.
I've tried to get this guy to come along with me. I debated that the Rangers should be included.
Nah, but I don't want to take
with Chicago and Detroit.
No, because they're not. Because if you look at you look at the ratings, Chicago is the only team that's rated in the 80s at an 83. And if you want to go by what you're saying, we should only actually eliminate Chicago and push Detroit in with everybody else. Yeah, because Detroit is a 79. I think actually that's like the other teams.
That's the point I was trying to make.
That's a totally different discussion.
You got to make some changes with the Rangers.
Yes,
I mean I think that's what throws off their ratings.
Yeah, well, if you put Kovalev into their starting line,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, so I mean, not this year. It's too late, but in future years, maybe the team that finishes dead last gets Chicago.
And don't give
and
anything to that second
Detroit's
place.
in. No, Detroit, the Rangers, they're all fair game.
I actually like that because I love Detroit, but I just my whole fear with that is
Yeah.
like, I don't need one of the best teams. I don't need one of the most experienced. I don't need me ending up with Detroit. You know what I mean? Like that's like to me, I would feel guilty almost if like
Listen,
I got Detroit. Then I'd be like, fuck.
but here's my point, Brendan. I don't think that's any different than you landing the Rangers. Right? Like Detroit and the Rangers, to me, they're like similar.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not going to argue with you there. I'm not going to say there's much difference.
No.
But like I said, I think that's the way you want to go. Not eliminating the Rangers. I think it's pulling the Red Wings
Yeah.
back into
I'm with you.
everywhere else.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, anything else?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You didn't get interrupted, man. I was waiting to see.
No, they dropped off some stuff here for me.
They were like, Dad, we're gonna let you be a dork. We're not gonna bother.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very cool.
Well, I got a couple of questions for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Let's do it.
Have you guys been experiencing increased connection issues this year?
I have not.
Well,
No?
it's interesting. For the whole season, I would say not more than previous seasons, but earlier today, I exhibitioned Pizzle, and the first game was unplayable. It was like jumping and skipping. So then I quickly said, let me back out. I updated the cores, and then we played again, 3 games. There wasn't any problem. So I don't know what the hell that means.
So prior to season, I had my move. I moved in between season 5 and season 6. So when I started back up season 6, I was in a whole nother Wi-Fi, whatever. So something was fucking crazy, and I had to, I'm not a tech guy. So the only thing I could do left was delete RetroArch, and I re-downloaded RetroArch. So I've been on 1.14 since the start of season 6, and I haven't had any problems. Now Salvo is the only person who told me he's had a shitty connection with me. So that's the one time. And I try to host as much as I can just so I can't bitch about connection. That's the way I look at it.
So I'm on 1.10.2. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you on, Brandon?
Same.
1 point. The one he's on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Do you think there's a goalie attribute that would look good, but is actually detrimental? And I'm calling it the Hasek element.
Interesting.
So I think because his agility is so good, it's a 5 or I think it's a 6. When people do that snake charmer and his defense is also a 6, he is pulled out of that goalie so quick. That's really if I'm playing against fast wingers, it is that snake charmer just eats me up. And I probably just told everybody how to beat me.
No, but so what you're saying,
I don't switch to the goalies fast enough.
But what you're saying though is that Hasek is so high in those numbers that he's ahead of the gameplay, basically getting out to try to make the play, and they're catching you coming back. Basically, is what you're saying. Whereas sometimes I look at it as like your goalie might be so low rated that he's too slow getting out of the net, and then he's caught. Right?
They won't go to the corner of the ice.
Yeah.
The slower rated goalies won't go to the edge of the ice, to the corner. He always goes to the corner of the ice to pick up that puck, and somebody will pass it around the backside of the net, one timer, boom.
See, I don't know the answer to your question, but I will say this: Hasek from 2 seasons ago was freaking ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
He would make saves that nobody else was making. I think he was like a 103 that season. He would you would see his glove or pad like move to the side.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that season you were experiencing this shit.
No, I think it's because people are, again, learning these moves more, learning how to, throw it around the back of the net, play behind the net more. that it's just been tearing me apart.
But you're suggesting that even Hasek at a 103 is vulnerable to that shit.
Yeah,
It sounds lame.
no, I
People
think
are
I understand
probably
what you're saying.
cringing at me saying, "Ooh, the guy at the best goalie in the whole league is complaining about him."
No, but Brandon, I totally understand what you're saying because
Yeah.
you can tell the difference between the goalies that have a high agility and high speed because they do come out of the net
Yeah.
really fast. And if if Hasek is his numbers are so high that he's actually trying to go play the puck, then yeah, he's pulling himself way over to the corner.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had Hobby Bowling, he was so slow that yes, his numbers might have been high enough to get him to go play that puck, but because his speed and agility were so low, he never got there in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't get there in time. So then the puck's gone and set to the one-timer and in the net. So like so it like almost goes both ways. They can almost,
Yeah, it does.
like you're saying, they're too good or they can just not be good enough.
For some reason, I think Ultra Magnus knows the answer to this question.
He's holding on. He's sitting on the secret.
Yeah, he'll don't worry, he'll let us know. He has the book on all of us. There's a book of Magnus out there on all of us. Right, Magnus? He said he knows how to beat you, Brandon.
Let's see it.
Well, he knows how to beat Sean.
He knows how to beat Colin. If you know how to beat Sean and beat Colin, you know how to beat everyone.
Yeah.
I know how to beat you.
Can we not play 4 players?
I don't know.
Play 4 players. You mean 2-on-2?
Yeah, I think that would be a fun tournament.
Online, nobody's
Yeah.
been able to figure that out yet. For some reason, nobody's been able to figure that out yet.
Okay.
Which is frustrating because I would love to play 2-on-2.
But interestingly, I don't know why I think this. I think there's somebody that knows how to figure that out. And his name is Aftershock.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, Aftershock would
Yeah.
know. But I almost feel like because it involves that adapter thing, right? Because typically to do the 4-player that we do in our summer tournament, we all have to have that adapter that we plug into our system.
Yep.
So how does that work online? How do you get the online to recognize
Listen, I
that?
remember actually in the first season,
Somebody tried it.
no, people were playing 2 versus 2. Aftershock was involved.
Oh, really?
100%.
He actually got it going.
Yes, so he knows how to do it. So we need to figure out. And you know what's weird? He reached out to me today, out of the blue,
Okay.
from a message I sent him in October. I said, "Are you around to help with something?" And he messaged me today
Yes.
saying, "I'm around if you still need help."
2 months, 3 months later. 3 months later.
So,
I think it would just be a super fun side tournament.
it would be.
Dude,
And
our 2v2 tournament, oh my God, man. The shit that happens when somebody fucks up, oh my God. Dude, this guy does not let his opponent be the center.
Well,
He is not let anybody take center.
That's true.
So if you're playing with him, you have to play defense because
Well,
he's taking the center.
that's my philosophy.
Get the fuck out, give me the puck and get the fuck out of the way. Whereas me, okay, so we've played 8 and I've won 7 of them with my partners, with 5 different partners. My motto is I'll play defense and check the fuck out of anyone. Just take the puck and go score. So I'm completely different than him. Completely different. And that's why I've won 7.
Yeah, we do part of our Ryder Cup format is 2v2. And yeah, I would agree that too much passing will cause problems.
Yeah.
So we do focus on if you got the puck, try to make something out of it.
Yeah.
That's my thought on
in
it.
2v2, I only try to take if I'm playing and typically so how we do our doubles tournament is if you finish 1, you win if you win in February, you get paired with the guy who finished last. And it goes like that all the way in. So like the best team should technically be your 8-9 guys playing together. They should technically be your best team. So
do you spin the wheel for teams too for that?
No.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, for teams. For the team that we're playing with, yes. But
There's a
we
but.
only play with teams like 70 and below. We don't play with the teams.
So basically,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's only like 6 teams,
Yeah.
right? There's 12 players, 6 teams. It's teams like Edmonton.
Yeah. Hartford, the Islanders.
Hartford.
Yeah, it's San Jose, the Flyers. It's teams like that.
Ottawa.
Yeah, it's so we the first year we did include the top teams, but we're like, we play with all those teams in February. Let's mix in a bunch of different teams.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So out of 95 questions, but is it possible to get a good Philly cheesesteak outside of Philly?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No. I'll say
And is there one place to go to?
In Philly,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
he's probably got a different answer than me.
So I'll go first. And I think Pizzle agrees with me. It's Steve's Princess Steaks. Unbelievable. Actually, this guy's saying no. When we get these people coming in for the high, we gotta make a point to get
Some cheesesteaks.
Good cheesesteaks.
So listen, there's in Philly, like there's cheesesteaks, but there's different kinds of cheesesteaks. Some places use chopped meat. Some people use rolled meat. Some people use cheese whiz. Some people use American. Like it's different. So it depends. So my top place is D'Alessandro's, which is in Roxborough. D'Alessandro's is phenomenal. But I got Phillies. I got a Phillies season ticket package a couple years ago, and I think JP told me about this place called Phillips, and Phillips is like 2 miles from the stadiums. So when we had season tickets that year, we stopped at Phillips after every game, and there was one time I fucking ate 2 of them. That's how fucking good they were.
Who's the guy who does those videos?
Oh, from
Bites?
From Barstool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dave
Portnoy?
Portnoy, yeah, he did a cheesesteak one, and he goes through the city of Philadelphia, and you can see he eats a lot of those places.
So D'Alessandro's, I believe, was 2, and Steve's was 3.
Yeah, D'Alessandro's to me is different because it's actually it's bigger and thicker. Most of the most places are like a thin cheesesteak. You know what I mean? It's like this. D'Alessandro's is almost like hoagie wide. It's like stuffed with chopped meat. You know what I mean?
So basically, he's saying D'Alessandro's, I'm saying Steve's. National media would say
Pat's and Geno's.
But Pat's and Geno's are probably like 5 and 6.
Pat's and Geno's are great when you're fucking drunk.
Yeah.
They're fucking fantastic. But that's all they are. I mean, they're just the most popular places because they're probably, they're 20 minutes from the stadiums and they're easy to send a camera to.
Yeah.
But Pat's and Geno's are not the best. Not the best.
No. Yeah.
So is there a rivalry between Philly and Pitt? Does one city think they're better than the other, or does that exist?
I'll let him answer this. I got my own views. I don't know what he's going to say.
Well, I think
and I'm not talking W, I'm talking overall.
The actual city.
I think for me, Philly's clearly the big brother, right? I mean, listen, it all started here, right? This country.
1776, signing of the Declaration.
Liberty Bell.
Right?
The Pitt guys are going to point to the Super Bowl championships.
From the 70s?
And the Stanley Cups more recently.
But more recently, that's still 20 years ago.
Yeah. But I think overall, Philly's the big brother. It is.
Wait, 10 years ago. Sorry. Philly's only the big brother because we run the state because we're the bigger city. We're the bigger city than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh to me is more, and I don't know if they'll say it, but I feel like it's not as big. Obviously, it's not as big as Philadelphia. So it doesn't have as many, it doesn't have as much stuff. Like Philadelphia, we have the Sixers, the Flyers, the Eagles, the Phillies, the Union. Like we have everything. They have the fucking Pirates who suck balls. They don't have a basketball team.
Just right there.
What?
They don't
even have a basketball team.
Yeah.
When you don't even have one of the teams, and we have an extra. We have the fucking Union who are fucking winning the championship last year. So it's like,
listen, in this
soccer team.
Yeah.
In this city, most people that you meet, they say we're 4 for 4 guys.
Yeah.
Right?
4 for 4, meaning that we're we follow all 4 of the number
major
one
sports.
Sure.
Pittsburgh doesn't have 4, so they're clearly the little brother.
Yeah, if you don't even have 4 teams,
Yeah.
you can't even act like you're on the same level, let alone you're in the same state.
Yeah.
So
It's a phenomenal question, though.
It is a phenomenal question, but for me, it goes even deeper because I'm a Penn State guy, and they're Pitt guys.
Yeah.
So, and really, they could also be Penn State guys because they're out there. So it's like there's that divide between Pitt and Penn State guys.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just very different. Those guys definitely have a chip on their shoulder, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nips and puss. I'm saying Pittsburgh people, Like I know plenty of them, and I don't just call. I have a guy that I've been around for a long time, and he's from Pittsburgh. Him and his wife are Pittsburgh, and I've always called them Yinzers, and I've always used it as like derogatory. And then these two dickheads took it and turned it into something that wasn't derogatory, and they use it like a charming thing. It's not supposed to be charming. You guys are fucking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's not supposed to be a nice thing.
Listen, I was married in Pittsburgh. My wife is from there. So I was married in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, the town that Joe Namath is from. So I'm very familiar with Western PA. Before my in-laws moved to Virginia, I spent the first, 12, 15 years of my marriage going there 2 to 3 times a year. So it's my second town, but Philly's number one.
Yeah, I mean, outside, I mean, I'll give you the 2 Roethlisberger teams.
Yeah.
I'll give you the Crosby teams. But outside of that, I mean, they don't really have anything else. And we can say we don't really have anything else, but we just are better. Sorry, we're just better.
So the Yinzer thing kind of brings me to my last question then. So we in Minnesota get made fun of a lot for our Fargo accent,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of central PA? I want to say, I thought I read like Delaware County.
There's a few.
Particular,
There's actually a few.
have a very
Yes.
strange
Yes.
accent.
Okay.
Yes.
Like SNL, I think, made a spoof on it where they call it "Murder Your Dirter."
Well, no.
Yeah.
Did you watch that show with Kate
that's-
Winslet?
Yeah, I think they're basing it off of that.
Yeah.
That was filmed in Delco.
Mhm.
So yes, Delco people. Well, first of all, Delco is like the white trash area. It's below Philadelphia. Delaware County is below Philadelphia. So they're
Close to
not
Delaware.
It's like it's on the the edge. It's not the classiest of place. When you say somebody's from Delco, you're cutting them down. You're saying that they have mullets, they wear jeans, they're white trash. That's basically what you're saying when you say somebody's from Delco. That's like a cut on them.
But they really talk like that.
They have,
Is that a true accent?
yeah,
They do.
and to be honest with you, I've had people from New York comment on my Bucks County accent because we say different things different. We say water ice. I say water.
Sure.
I don't say water. I say water.
Yeah.
Like there's things
Yeah.
that we say here that are just pronounced different.
Yeah.
People laugh at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, even also in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody thinks we talk like in Fargo, but it's really just that small section of the state.
Yeah, because I don't hear any kind of different what's it called? Dialect
Dialect.
in when you're talking. It's not like I know. You don't sound like from the movie Fargo. You know what I mean? It's not what you sound like.
But I feel like
Yeah, we'll pull out the "oh yeah, sure."
Yeah,
every
exactly.
so often,
That type of, that to me almost sounds Canadian too, though. You know what I mean? When you talk.
yeah, very much,
Yeah.
yeah, but being up north.
but not that thick. But those Fargo people do.
Yeah. So they definitely do. So Fargo people definitely sound like that.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little exaggerated from what you saw on TV, but yeah, for the most part, they do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even hear it in us until like my kids are like, "Dad, you're saying water, not water."
Water.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like there's certain words that we are known for saying here.
Yeah.
I can't think of them off the top of my head, but yeah, there's plenty of things. And if you hear us say those specific words, you would say, "Oh, okay." But 95% of the time, you couldn't tell.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
water's a big one.
Yeah, water is the most. I mean, they sell shirts that say water ice,
Yeah.
WOODER ice. You know what I mean? Because we say water ice, not water. I don't say water. Water sounds weird to me. Water.
Yeah.
It's just because we're lazy. I say water.
I'll say drawer. Like I say drawer.
Yeah, there's certain
drawer.
things. There's definitely certain terms.
Sure.
So I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
That was my last question.
All right, well, this is cool, man.
Fucking
Yeah.
awesome, man. I'm glad you came on because we were talking to Gaelic, but he kind of judged too fucking. He's so popular and just like such the travel guy, and you can't fucking hold him down. I'm like, then we're going for Brandon. Brandon will be cool. He'll talk to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he is far more interested. I mean, those guys like Blair writes books, and Nick, he's the sparkle of the NHL or their Segathon, and Judd, he's our league administrator and guy that's coordinating everything. So they're far more interesting than I am.
stop, man. Stop.
This
No,
is-
man. This has been
listen.
great, man. I really appreciate it, man. It's been fucking fun talking to you. I really hope we do get to hang out in person at some point, man.
Yeah.
So wait, when you say you're big, how tall are you?
6'4".
And how much you weigh?
I when Magnus was here.
Is that too personal? Am I not supposed to?
No, not at all. So when Magnus was here, I took it as a big compliment. I think he said he was talking with you guys. I think he said, "Yeah, he's a big guy. He's like 6'4" and he's like 250." Like 250. I think I got that in my right leg. I'm 290.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Now, so what was your weight in high school?
In high school, I was only 275. And then I went to Duluth. Wasn't planning on playing football. Got asked to play. It's a Division II, and they're going through a coaching change. I didn't want to be a lineman. I always liked the concept of being a tight end. So I completely lied to the coaches. And so, what position do you play? I go, tight end. And so I was playing tight end there. And then the new coach came in, who's now a Division I coach. He caught on pretty quickly. He goes, I like your hands, but I don't like your speed. So you either got to get faster or you got to put on some weight. One's going to happen easier than the other.
He was honest. He was honest with you, right? I appreciate that.
No, they put on 30 pounds on me like that, so, and then once you leave football, then it's all weight management for that.
Yeah. Wait, so were you at 300 pounds?
So yeah, no, and in college, and I was like and I wasn't like a soft 300.
Yeah. But you were 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And then after I actually went, over the years, I was actually closer to 400 than I was to 300. Wow. So I ended up getting into a gym and lost about 60 pounds. So that's still transforming.
Yeah. No, weight is a constant battle for someone like me, man. I deal with weight all the time. Yeah. I totally understand. So we have at our tournament, we have Jay Wallace, played for Penn State back in the late 90s. And Jay's probably 6'4", right? And right now he's definitely he's put on some weight. So he's probably about
playing weight.
Yeah, he's probably about the same size as you.
290.
Yeah, 290, somewhere around there. He's our biggest guy that's here. But again, he's a big teddy bear, man. He's not he's not gonna say anything or do anything, but it's just impressive size wise. Like Chell's obviously 4'2", sitting in his chair. I'm kidding.
I'm a solid 6 foot.
Yeah. No, but this chair jacks him up pretty high. So he can get as high as he wants with that fucking chair. So when you say, is Blair's, is your family a tall family?
Yeah.
Blair's skinny, right?
Blair's skinny. Yeah. Just because he doesn't really eat. He mostly drinks. Yeah, we ascended in size. So my daddy's 100% Irish, and he looks like a leprechaun, and he's small. Okay. But on my mom's side, all like 6 of her brothers are these tall, like German guys. They're all 6'5" and taller and bald. So I got that gene.
Damn.
So how tall is your brother?
Blair, so we ascended in order. Like my sister is your typical Irish, tiny girl. And then Blair is the second tallest. Then he's got to be about 6'1" or so, 6'2" maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, man.
Yep.
Wow. Well, dude, this has been fucking awesome.
Yep.
Listen, great to get to know you.
Yeah.
For sure. This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Hope you had fun tonight. So we're gonna keep doing these, but really great to get to know you. This is the WolfNCline podcast, episode 1, season 2. Fuck, man. Great way to climb into season 2.
Yeah, man. We appreciate your time.
All right.
We are out.
Yeah.
All right.
Later, guys.
Yeah.